Yeah, this show is in collaboration with Underground Sound in Malta. Hey people. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is a show special today. If you're listening on a podcast, thanks very much. Please subscribe for updated shows. If you're listening on Mixcloud, but if you're listening on the radio station, well, hello. Oh yeah. So you know what this station's about, is bringing you some of the latest music, the unsigned artists, the emerging artists from across the globe. We've got a great interview today with the Fuzzhoneys, I'll get it right, from Malta, and I drove up to Manchester to meet them with my dad. Great, so what we're going to do, I think we'll start the show with one of their tracks that they sent me. We went to see him perform after the interview. Really great. And this is going out and recording this for the station, but it's important to get out there because they're in Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, Sheffield, Doncaster, York. If you get an opportunity to go and see them. And Abominable Souls as well, another band that they were featured with, who they met last time they toured the UK. Absolutely brilliant. If you like your music loud, go and check them out. Great interview to come with them as well. So let's play one of their songs. We watched them perform live, and I've done some videos on these as well. So let's play Venus, and then we'll get on with the show.
Venus. Sitting on a seashell, blowing down the breeze. Love the evening star, shaking up my speech. For Venus, I kneel down and I plead. For Venus. Your mold and keep it from the cold. Protect my kindred soul. For Venus, on this unholy mountain, let me be your fountain. I will pray every day.
Right, so people, as I said at the start, we've interviewing a band up here in Manchester, but they're not from Manchester, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves now. And I've been looking forward to this. I've actually driven up 120 miles to meet them, and I've brought one of the other presenters with me as well. We've got Daddy Stone with us.
Well, unfortunately, my show is a Greek show. I don't do Maltese, I do Greek. But
So, welcome.
Maybe one day I'll do some Maltese stuff as well, who knows?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Caroline. I play the drums at Husky.
Yep.
And I'm Francesca, I sing and I play guitar at Fuzz.
Cool. And what's the name of the band, so everyone knows who you are?
Fuzzhoneys.
Fuzzhoneys. Yeah, I keep saying the Fuzz Bunnies. My dad went mad before. I keep getting it mixed up.
Yeah, it's been said before as well.
The Fuzz Bunnies, yeah. And no, it's not right. It's not right. It's the Fuzzhoneys.
It's okay. We can be fuzz bunnies.
Yeah, so it's good. So you're on tour at the minute in the UK. I'm seeing obviously you've done Brighton, London, Brighton. You're in Manchester tonight, and obviously that's why we're talking. And you've got York, Sheffield, and Doncaster.
Doncaster and Leeds.
And Leeds.
And Liverpool as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot Liverpool.
Yes.
So it's interesting because obviously I've got to interview you through my connection in Malta, which is Underground Sound, and this is obviously been done in conjunction with Underground Sound. Ian, and when he said to me the other day that you were in the UK and you was touring, I've presumed until I started looking that you were actually an English group, and he'd contacted you from over there and wanted me to interview you. But then when I've looked behind the scenes, you're actually from Malta, aren't you?
Yeah,
so you've come over from Malta.
Maltese.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you've chose to come to the UK to do your tour as well, isn't it? And you've
We keep UK quite close to heart, to be honest. I mean, our influences and general, language in our music. Our music is not in Maltese; it's in English.
Yeah.
And we love English kind of, historical bands.
Yeah.
Like the Beatles and like Sex Pistols.
In the background.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff
Beatles in the background.
Yeah, I had
and
to mention
you're
it.
singing along to the Beatles, aren't you?
I forgot I'm on an interview.
Yeah. Me and Caroline both really love Beatles dearly, basically. And it's not just them. It's
I mean, mostly because we can speak the language, so it was very easy for us.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not too far. Plus, the scene. It's like another level of venues that could sort of open for our style as well. I feel.
And it's like a fourth time that we came here. The first time we played was actually in London as a band.
Yeah.
Our first foreign gig, and then we just started planning tours around the UK. We had contacts at Sheffield and Nottingham, and we actually played with Abominable Soul, who were playing with for the rest of the tour earlier this year. We had our glitter tour, and we played at Leeds, where we're playing again at Trunk, and Washington in Sheffield.
Yeah.
We played with them in January, and we decided to plan a longer tour this time.
Yeah, I think it's really
We
good.
have 10 days.
And your music for me, and obviously when this goes out on the station, there'll be some music in here. I really like it. I was listening to it and I was trying to define it into a genre. And you shouldn't do that, should you? Because I hate doing genre, but I thought it sounds a bit punk, sounds a bit rock, and I was like, what? And then when I read the write-up, that if you look on Spotify, there's a write-up about the music, and I'm like, oh right, that's everything I thought it was, and it's really good, good. I think it's very different.
Yeah, it is.
We try to be diverse. The way we write songs, we try not to sound like the same thing from one song to another. But
we still have that style which people can tell it's us in a way.
Yes, you can, because if I look back and your first track was Chemistry, and you listen to Chemistry and then listen to the new album, and you can tell it's you. I'm not saying they're just the same, but you can tell the style is you. It's definitely, if you've played the two songs to people who didn't know who you was, they'd go, yeah, it's the same band. So where's the influence come from for that sort of music?
I mean, me as a musician, I tend to not play the style I usually listen to.
Yeah.
But with this band, with Fuzzhoneys, the influences kind of show. I mean, the beaters, the drums. I like simple drum beats, like the AAS.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the whole style of Fuzzhoneys, there's quite a lot. I mean, Francesca's influences are quite different because of the vocal range as well, and she likes the experimental sort of thing and the blues. I'm just simple rock, I guess.
No, it works though, doesn't it? It really works.
Yeah.
It really works.
I mean, we try to bring out the dynamic of the guitar and drums, since
Yes.
we are guitar and drums, but we try to make it special in a way without thinking about it too much. We just go in and play, and whatever comes out, then we try to layer it accordingly.
It's more about the communication between us, how we sort of give and take.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning with this band, I really we had our connection when we both found out we like Black Keys.
Right.
And I had always really wanted to play with someone and do that style where it's like White Stripes, like rock but blues.
Yeah.
And it also helps as well, like with the sort of husky, like dark.
Yeah, you can hear that in there. You can hear that, and the other band that you're touring with at the minute, you know, I listen to it, even though it's very different to what you're doing. You can see there's a similarity in your music. It complements each other, even though we're hopefully going to interview them later. Right, so let's have another track from the Fuzzhoneys, and this one is called Candy. Take it away, girls.
I want candy. Daddy always told me you better save your money. Daddy always told me you better replace your sugar with your honey. And all I have is a wet dream on midsummer's night, sipping on my cherry wine. Oh, my baby, can't you understand? I wanna eat candy all the time. Candy. Candy.
Yeah, that was Candy by the Fuzzhoneys. Go and check them out at fuzzhoneys.com. Link to their Spotify, Facebook and all that sort of stuff, all the social media. But seriously, go and check them out. And if you can get to one of their gigs, I suggest you do. Anyway, let's get back on with the interview. They sound like two bands together, pushed together.
How sweet.
Really good group. So it's good that you've got that collaboration from last time, isn't it?
Yes,
Definitely,
we
yeah.
made good friends with them. So
Yeah.
we're very happy on this tour. We're in a van as well, traveling together with Jimmy, our driver, who's also like our tour dad. He takes care of the marriage. Yeah.
Make sure you get fed and get to sleep on time.
Yes.
Really rock and roll. We talked about that before.
We're very happy. Yeah. Happy family.
So obviously we were saying before, and the whole reason for doing live gigs and touring around is to get awareness for you, and obviously you've come to the UK to get and create your fan base in the UK, I presume.
Yeah, and we just released our debut album, Love Juice.
Yeah.
So obviously we try to make sure that the tour comes straight after, so we promote that.
Yeah.
I think it'll do. I think it'll go down very well with a lot of people want to hear it, because it's one of those albums where you listen to a track and go, yeah, I like this, and you've only heard it for the first time, or you might go, oh, I'm going to listen to that again, and just because I've listened to one of your tracks a few times since I was sent it, and yeah, they sort of grow on you, and I like the vibe of him, and I think you'll get.
Kurt sent me the link to your album, and I just listened to 20-30 seconds, and I thought, and I went all the way through, because he was saying we're going to see these, and they're good, they're really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's different, but I know the music's not the same, but it took me back years ago when I used to listen to Led Zeppelin, and I know it's not the same, but there's something in it.
There's a couple of tracks that's got a bit of a Led Zeppelin vibe to it. There's one track, and I thought, I know what you mean now. I know what you mean, fella. You won't know because you're too young.
Yeah,
I'm too young, really. But
I mean, it's just I don't know what it is, but there's something in there that.
Most of our inspirations, though, even when we actually got into the studio, and they're coming from a lot of 60s and a lot of 80s and that window. I mean, we love the Beatles, we mentioned that, but then I also love if it's from Elvis to Nina Simone to it's not going to be directly in your face there, but I love the character of it, and I love for example with Cream, it's like a tiny detail like the cowbell from Caroline, and the backing on the chorus. We try to give each song the character it's like it deserves for that character. So it's like they all have different sort of styles in a time, maybe, I guess, and it's a mix. It's like it's not a concept album, because the concept is finalized, and it's Mamma Donna, which came out of the release before that, which was Fantastic. And Fantastic is,
I like that track.
It's very sort of zine, kind of the Bikini Kill and the zines that used to come out even in England, like with the Sex Pistols and Patti Smith, and the stuff they used to release, which had lots of collage art. Yeah. So we made an art release in that EP, and that had 3 songs, which are like the singles, which have this kind of, I would say it's a bit English influenced from that 80s. So there's Glitter, there's Fantastic, and there's Period. And even Period, we were inspired from that time, however we're not feminists. We use the character of the sound, but then our message is now, and our message is global. And the album has a mix of that, but it also has the element that we're 2 girls, and there's Mamma Donna, which is like the symbol of motherhood or the symbol of Mother Nature. And the way we want to spread that symbol is that it's love for all. So it's literally all the songs, they might have these sort of different characters, but at the end of the day they're all different stories. So I feel like, this UK tour is part of sharing this baby kind of thing, and seeing how it's sort of how the response is for the next one, because we really want to tour more and sort of take our music to the audience,
to the masses. Because obviously at the moment, with any band that's doing it, obviously you're doing a tour in the UK, you're playing a lot of smaller venues, aren't you? And like we're in Manchester now. It's a pub. I don't know, they've got records over there. I'm going to go you downstairs. So that
the Pier Hat.
Yeah, the Pier Hat. It's really quick, isn't it?
Yes. And downstairs, the venue where the actual gig will take place. It's really cool. Even the bathrooms.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of cool bathroom encounters. Hotels are very interesting.
And then these set, obviously, your aim is you've got to do your groundwork, and then hopefully grow and grow and grow. And there's a couple of artists that I know I've been watching the last couple of years who've been playing in smaller venues and then keep coming back, and they've been playing in bigger venues, more crowd, and it's the only way you can do it, isn't it? It's the only way.
You make contacts along the way, and hopefully you play bigger venues or with bigger bands, for example, who will get their people, and then
and I think you'll probably look back on this sort of time and go, that was fun, because it's different, isn't it? You've probably got more at the moment, more control than when bands get more established. You end up with less and less control, unless you can sort of do your own thing at the moment, can't you? Which must be good.
Yeah. And we're enjoying ourselves.
We always learn from each one as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's mostly about, because you mentioned that there's a particular sound in the album, and that's the thing. I mean, I could spend ages talking about all the songs and stuff, and even, I mean, we had the launch straight before we came to the UK, and I mean, we were on radio shows, and we had our launch in a theatre in Malta as well, and it was super beautiful as a whole experience. And it's our first album, so after 6 years of playing together and everything, now it's like, we want to share it here and see what people think, and see how we can improve, and see how we'll get closer to what someone would want to hear, and how we can have that moment sort of within the actual performance we were two people, so there's always limitations on certain things you can try, but we use that to have more of a energy, I guess. So if anyone is listening and they would like to come to one of these gigs, it's quite special for us. I mean, and each gig we play the set, it's tour, and we're going to different places every day as a gig, and it's also interesting how that gives its own energy for the gig, because the way you would perform, at least from my side, the way I perform when it's a gig and we know it's going to come, and it's in 2 months in Malta, and then we go and we rehearsed and we played it, and then we'll plan another one. But when you're playing every day, something happens, like maybe it's going to be that song, or it's going to be that song, and even like the banter or whatever we have.
And you've got different people and different. Even the venue will influence what you're doing, won't it? It's like everything, wherever you're going somewhere. And
it's very inspiring here. Like each place we're going to, there's a lot of character in the space in itself, and I love the people as well. English people are super. Like everyone has been so.
That's nice. Nice to know. So how because obviously it's nice to talk to you when you've done a couple of gigs already.
Yeah.
So the experience for those couple of gigs, how people receive you on those, how have you been received by the people that have been come to see you on those first couple of gigs?
Yeah, they've been cool. I mean, every gig is, there's always someone who comes up and tells you well done, And I mean, the difference is that in Malta, you almost know everyone who's at the gig, so they have to tell you well done because they know you. But here you kind of appreciate it more because you don't know them, and they
don't need to say anything.
Yeah. And even when they buy the merch, they appreciate it because we're coming from Malta, and it's different to here. Like we have a whole range. We have T-shirts, we have 3 CDs. We made a zine ourselves. It's all folded, stuck, and stapled by us.
Yeah.
And then other bands would just have a T-shirt, so maybe the people seeing us would appreciate that.
Yeah, I've been to some things. I went with my son to a concert a few weeks ago, and they had never had any merch. And I said, "Why has it not got any merchandise?"
Oh.
Well, they don't have merch. They don't do these type of artists don't do merchandise.
Even a sticker or a badge.
Yeah,
people really appreciate
people like to get something, don't you? It's like me. I collect baseball caps, so I've got like hundreds of baseball caps and things like that. So.
I will give you a badge.
Yeah.
Badges are good.
Badges are cool.
I mean, plus it's in our character as a band as well. Like all the artwork we have, as from the first CD cover, we did ourselves, and it's been growing as well. To get to the point where we actually got a local painter to do like a proper painting within the story and the character, and we have like symbols of the song. And it's a painting in itself, so to get to that level, if they wear T-shirts, if it's Photoshop, if it's video, if it's an image, like we've been collaborating with some really beautiful, talented people, and and even if anyone wants to check us out, we just updated our website as well. So all the really talented photographers and everything,
really good. And that's fuzzhoneys.com, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
All together.
Yeah, it's www.fuzzhoneys.com.
Yeah.
And we have our Facebook page and Instagram.
Right, so I think we'll have another track and then we'll get to the last part of the interview. And this one's called Bonnie. It's been wonderful to speak to girls, and watching them live was just fantastic. So if you get the chance, like I say, go and check them out. They're all over the place. So here is the Fuzzhoneys and Bonnie.
You can be my Bonnie, baby. I can be your Clyde. There's nothing funny, baby. Nowhere left to hide. Let me be your magic maiden. Load your guns with pride, and we can fight all the bullies. 'Cause honey, I'm always by your side. And there will be a white wedding with a horse and a chain. And you can load your copper bullets. 'Cause honey, we don't feel no pain. Copy Mr. Bonnie Bird. 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 Pull the trigger, say the word. Oh my Bonnie, you know me and all I got up my sleeve. All myself a magic bullets. Baby, I'm a living, breathing teeth. And it will be a white wedding with a horse and a train. And you can load your copper bullets. 'Cause baby, we don't feel no pain. Copy Mr. Bonnie Bird. 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 Pull the trigger, say the word. Oh my Bonnie, it will be a dream come true. It'll go something like this. Everybody put your hands up in the air. Put them where I can see them and drop everything you got. 'Cause me and my Bonnie, we got a train to catch. Copy Mr. Bonnie Bird. 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 Pull the trigger, say the word. The doggies don't show.
So when you're in Malta, do you play the same venues? Or is there many venues you go to in Malta, or is it?
The problem with Malta is, I mean, most places they have the same issue that they end up closing down. But in Malta, it's like it happens at a faster rate. Like we had a really good venue, but it closed down 3 years ago, and so it always ends up to these 4 venues. But the thing is, it gets a bit expensive to actually play shows because you have to pay the sound man.
Right.
Most of the venues are not catered for bands.
Right.
It's just a space and it's a bar. And you have to rent the equipment, obviously pay the sound man. The money you make is usually at the door, so to cover costs it's a bit hard. So there's only probably 1 venue that actually has sound or 2. The rest you have to pay, so even though there are these venues, it kind of limits you to where you can't do it for life, you know.
No.
Maybe gig once a month maximum. If you do it every week, it's a bit too much, even for the people.
They won't come.
Because Malta's so small.
Yeah. I was there last year, first time I've been, and I was surprised. I knew it was only a small island, but when I got there and was driving, I was like, wow, this is a small island. And, you know, like you say, most people will know.
But the
won't they?
music, the local music is amazing. It's vast. So even though we have these limitations, there's so much we're offering. Yeah.
Well, but I've not been to Malta since April this year. I've been going every other month for the last 4 years. So, but this year our son lives over there, our youngest son, Kurt's brother, and he's got family over there, and one of them's a teenager, and she's got teenage friends, so that's the reason why I was asking, because obviously if I speak to her, I'll say, I'm going to go and see these, because they're good.
She probably knows about them.
She might do. But, you know, if we can help you by getting young people in Malta to come and see you, then that's going to build you up as well.
I mean, it also depends on their taste. We also have a good party scene.
Yeah.
So maybe she likes that style.
Yeah.
But there are quite a few different ages that come to gigs, so no complaints there.
Yeah.
It's good in Malta.
It's good.
So after this tour, then you were talking before about another album. You're already working on your next album, are you? Is that what you said, or did I misunderstand that?
No. We just released the last.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You just got the one that's out now. So what's your plans after this tour? What you're going to do? Go back and regroup and see?
Take it a bit easy.
Take a break.
Yeah, a kind of break. I mean, we'll still keep meeting twice or once a week to just play, and from there we'll see what happens. But we are planning. We're constantly writing new materials.
Yeah, technically we already have a song.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like my wife's a designer, so she's creative, and she's making one before she's finished one thing.
Exactly.
She's designing the next thing, and I'm bored with that now, and I'm going with this. Hang on, you've not done anything with that yet,
It's
and that's
the
probably the
same.
same. Innit? I'm bored with that now.
We start half a song and we try another one, then we go back.
Because the other thing as well, I've often wondered. So I've listened to your tracks this for the first time. Never heard of you before. Never heard your music before. Listened to it and go, that's great. It's new to me. But for you guys, once you get to releasing that album, you've played it and played it and played it.
Yeah.
Do you get to the point where you're doing it, you think, even though it's your stuff, it's your baby, do you get to the point where, oh well, this is just like, is everyone going to listen to it? Because it's like, because you've heard it so many times, you think everyone else is aware of it, and there's not going to, what's it like?
It's interesting because I was reflecting on this as well last time. Like I said, playing these songs in Malta for the launch, with all the rehearsals for the actual launch, it was a build-up, and it was, you're playing the same songs. But you're playing the same songs, so you do the best performance possible, especially after, recording, mixing, mastering, and everything. So, considering we're not full-time musicians, I feel like it's only fair to push for this quality, like even in the studio that we went to, for us to actually get the money to perform enough gigs, to actually then go and everything, to make it happen. It's not like it's going to happen in a month. So considering a year is quite good, because I was updating the website as well, and I realized, I'm like, okay, so we release a CD every year, and this album feels like mostly about the stories. It feels like a lot, because when we write, we discuss what's happening. So Bonnie is Bonnie and Clyde, Venus is the birth of Venus. It's going to be either a painting or a character, and we're talking about sort of what's happening in a very visual way. So it's how I write, and it's how me and Caroline build it off. So for example, in the beginning you asked us about the inspirations, but we have a method where we communicate. But we start from the music always, and then Caroline tells me a subject, or we talk about something that we've seen, and then we write it. It's expression, but something happened with this album. It's like we wanted to come up with stories in a sort of storybook way, and we came up with these characters, and now I'm excited because I feel like I want to do something different now. I want to do something simpler. For our first album, obviously I'm not going to be simple. No. I mean, after we always see these characters and stuff, like it had to be, our baby. But now I feel like it's going to, everything that happens, like even if it's a gig and we're always performing, we always practice the same songs for Love Juice. Now the songs have a different meaning, even though we're playing the same songs. Now it's on the tour, and each gig is a different day, but something in that song will be more strong than another. So I guess what happens now is like we take all the experience, we sit down, just like see what comes out of all that kind of thing, And I feel like this has been a summary, not just of this album, but also the ones before, because it's like the communication we made, and our songwriting approach.
Yeah, it evolves. And it's interesting talking to you about you're talking about, you're writing as if you're doing songs, but to me it's almost like you're creating like an artist, like you're creating paintings but you're doing it into the songs, and that's what I'm getting from it. So instead of you picking up a paintbrush and pen and you're doing it in your music, that's what it's coming over us. That's really interesting.
And I mean,
very creative.
Yeah, and we've always been very visual as well. Like even our music videos. I mean, I think we have 4 or 5. And it's like there was a new chapter. As soon as we released Fantastic, it's like, okay, even with the actual zine, we're like, okay, we're gonna take another step now with the artwork, you know. And now it's like for the Candy music video, especially, even, which was like the second time or fourth time I directed. Like, I really wanted to see how I could use the fact that I'm also in the band and directing to combine little bits of the album in one. So it might be coming through the lighting, it might be coming through the character, it might be coming through the dance, but something that's, you know, sort of pushes that visual as faithful to the approach in the music as possible. And it was a very interesting learning curve as well for me. I mean, same thing with this album, same things with the gig. So that's why, I mean, I'm in a position where I really want people to tell me what they think in music when we play or the performance, or just to come and support in the same way we support. We just do that, you know, because it's always evolving. I feel like it's always evolving. You've got to evolve, and you can see lots of bands, and they start off originally and then they move and it just changes, morphs into something else. So, absolutely brilliant. We're looking forward to seeing them, aren't we, later?
Yep.
We are looking forward to it.
That's what we're here.
Thank you so much.
We are.
So he's the man that does the interviews. I'm just
he's helping.
I'm his minder.
So is there anything else we've not covered you'd like to cover, or you'd like to tell people that you're doing? Because I think we've got lots of information there about you, and a bit of a background of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Makes it more real for people to understand who you are.
Sure. Yeah, I think we covered most things. We're on our Candy tour. It's in the UK. This is our 3rd show.
Yeah.
We're at Manchester, Pierhead. Tomorrow we play at Sheffield. I'm excited for that one. We played in January as well, the Washington.
Yeah.
It's a cool space.
So that's great, because you're going back to somewhere you've been before,
yes,
so it's a bit like a return visit.
Yes, return.
And you probably expect to see some people that came to that first gig back again, which will be nice.
Yeah, there might be. I mean, especially since we're playing with Abominable Soul, and we played with them last time as well, and they have friends from there.
Great.
And we're actually meeting a few friends of ours as well. I mean, each tour, for example, in London, a lot of Maltese who live in London came. So that was pretty cool. We have a friend of ours there, Noah, and Denise. And there was Seb as well, and Jasmina. And my parents came as well. They flew from Malta.
Nice.
To see us.
Cool.
That was sweet.
Really good.
Yes, and Brighton was really cool too. Brighton was a really cool place.
Yeah.
So we're playing the Washington tomorrow in Sheffield, which is the 13th. Then we're playing the Fulford's Arms in York on the 14th. So that's Wednesday at York, Thursday in Liverpool at Sound, which is quite exciting because I've never been to Liverpool, and you know, all the music they have there.
Birth of the Beatles.
Yeah, that's why. Thank you. Then on the 16th we're in Doncaster at the Hall Cross, and on the 17th we're playing Chunk at Leeds.
Yeah. Cool, sounds brilliant. Well, thanks very much for spending the time with us.
Thank you for coming to see us.
No, it's not a problem, and I'm looking forward to seeing you singing a bit, and also seeing you do the rest of the tour and see what comes from it. So it's been great. So
us too.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Gary.
We will, definitely.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful to see the girls, see them live. Thanks for my dad for coming along and being me roadie guy. We had a ball, we really did. They sent me those 3 tracks, and they're the 3 tracks they wanted putting onto the interview, which is great. But do you know what? Let's have one more from them. But this one, when I sent the music to my dad, he said, they remind me when I first heard Led Zeppelin and the rock, but it's like 2018, and it was this one, Fantastic. Listen to it and see what you think. And when they perform live, they're brilliant. Honestly, if you get a chance, go and see them. Go and check them out. They are on all the W's, fuzzoneys.co.uk. undergroundsound.com, and you'll find all the stuff there. If you go into Malta, search him out there. Thanks for Underground Sound, because this is a collaboration with Underground Sound and obviously the Fuzzhoneys. So wonderful. Let's finish off the show with this. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening on Mixcloud, listen on iTunes or TuneIn Radio, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and go over to DougieStoneRadio.com, because we're freaking global, baby. Oh yeah. Fantastic. Brilliant. And there'll be some videos on YouTube that I've done from the day as well. Go and check them out on Dougie Stone.
How long is your skirt? How short is your hair? Did you shave your legs? What color is your underwear? How clear is your skin? How false are your nails? Look at me and my double chin. Look at her, oh she looks so
How cool are they? And bearing in mind there's only two of them doing this music. It's knockout. So the Fuzzhoneys on Dougie Stone Radio in conjunction with Underground Sounds in Malta. Big shout out to Ian over there for hooking us up. Brilliant. Go and check these out, honestly. Brilliant. I absolutely loved them. And get ready for another interview shortly, which will be with The Abominable Soul from Doncaster. Absolutely brilliant as well. Great guys, and really funny interview as well. So you've been listening to me, Kurt Pickstone, aka Dougie Stone, on Dougie Stone Radio, also on the Dougie Stone podcast, going out across the planet, bringing you the best in great music. My podcast contains things like adversity, business, and dyslexia, and now features a lot of artists and a lot of music. So until next time, keep tuned. I'm getting the hell out of here. See ya.
The Doggy Stone Show.